You know, we are humans. We don't have so many sensors in our head. Many Chinese car vloggers usually use an adjective to describe Leapmotor, like cost-effective. If I'm the boss of the brand, I won't feel that comfortable because every brand owner always thinks his baby is a high-end artwork. Today, we are very lucky to introduce the product of evolution, which brings 6Cs to power modes and smart enough brand. Will perform well in the brutal Chinese auto market. I have to admit that before I actually saw this car, I did compare with its design features with those of its potential competitors because it's easy. For example, you can just say in the title, it's a small LA and complete a video shoot. But when I actually saw this car, I realized that this brand has found its own design language. As a 4.9-meter long SUV, its size is now exaggerated in today's car market, where cars are often 5 meters or even 5.2 meters long. Honestly, I'm be very keen on the design styles of the front end. It's like you are approaching a calm and texture product. The daytime running lights makes this car look very sci-fi and stylish. And if you look closely, the proportion of its daytime running lights and headlights is very harmonious. Let me be more specific. Many other brands like to over-elongate the daytime running lights to create a sci-fi feeling for their products. But if the daytime running lights are put to this position, the entire front of the car will give you a narrow feeling. The second eye-catching design of this car is its air dams. Its air dams are very wide but are now overly aggressive. In fact, it's difficult to design an electric vehicle without any hyperbolic, especially for the air dams. In addition to its visual effect, the air dams also play a significant role in aerodynamics, enhance the stability of driving and reduce the wind resistance coefficient. Nowadays, automobile design has entered the era of electrification, like closed grills, lidars. Those elements are commonly seen in electric cars. By shortening the size of the front end and designing it to focus the visual center of gravity on the center, Leapmotor calls it a balanced front face, which I think is based on Chinese solid philosophical thinking. Actually, when I first heard about this car in the news, I was surprised such small body size will fit 6 seats. Even 6 seats are placed, the whole proportion of this car will be very ugly because the third rows of the car will definitely occupy the trunk space. Traditional car manufacturers often design the rear of the C-pillar to be square and rounded in order to ensure space in the trunk of three-row models. I'm concerned about whether the final visual effect will look like a minivan. It turned out that I was wrong. There was still space from the window and the design of the body structure, especially the rear windows. There's still space from the B pillar and the C pillar. The lines of the windows are also very smooth, especially the tiny triangle extending from the rear window to the C pillar, which focus visual attention on the C pillar, making the entire car look very sporty. This approach can also be seen in other excellent products. Some friends may ask, as a three-row car, how is the effect of the third row of windows? In fact, it can be seen from the appearance that it's a very regular trapezoid. Leapmotor said the size of this window is over 10,000 square centimeters, which is indeed large enough. The side of this car looks very sporty, not only due to the body proportions and the window design, but it also comes standard with a roof rack for all models. The roof rack can visually raise the body and modify the lines of the entire vehicle. In general, its body side design makes you never think it's a 4.9-meter long, three-row family SUV. It looks bigger but now bloated and has a strong sporty feel. The rear of an SUV, especially a medium-sized or large SUV, is very difficult to design. If the design is too large, it will make people think of a van directly. But if the design is too small, it will make the car look very weak and powerless. To be honest, compared with the stunning design of the front, the rear of the Leapmotor C16 chose a relatively conservative solution. Because the town of this car is for family users, in addition to the consumers themselves, the aesthetics of consumers' families must also be considered. The well-balanced design is indeed impeccable in the presentation of power. But I think that today's Chinese electric vehicle market is so competitive that in order for consumers to quickly understand you, the rear of the car also needs to be designed to be eye-catching enough. So can the luggage compartment space of the 16 models meet our expectations? To be honest, the luggage compartment space of this car really amazed me. For example, when the third row of seats is not folded down, the storage space is also very ample. I personally like the partition of the luggage compartment very much. It is very convenient to put some commonly used equipment in it, and it is now easy to lose it, especially when the third row of seats is folded down. The storage volume reaches a terrifying 1,022 liters. To be honest, I'm surprised by the space performance of this car's second row. As a 16 model, the seats of rows is more independent. The main driver adjusts to a very comfortable position for me, and there are still 2 feet of space for me. Everyone's favorite function is here, the independent TV in the second row. This function is combined with luxury configurations such as 21-inch wheels and 21 speakers to form the full package. However, the optional costs 10,000 yuan. Even if you buy a screen and install it by yourself, it's now as easy to use as the original one. As for the second and third row independent air conditioning outlets, USB charging port, 14 small table, second row independent air conditioning control system, and wireless storage spaces, this car is fully equipped in its limited space. The space performance of the third row is actually within my expectation. If it's used for adults, I think it can only be used for a short distance. The window space of the third row is indeed 10,000 square centimeters, which bring very good visual performance. Many foreign friends ask me, will you really put your children on the third row? Generally speaking, the third row of 6-seater models is closest to the rear of the car. And in terms of safety configuration, it's likely to be inferior to the first 2 rows. But this car has indeed made great efforts to ensure safety. In terms of hardware, this car has 9 horizontal and 3 longitudinal beam floors, a 75% high-strength steel aluminum hybrid body, a maximum of 2000 megapascal hard form steel, and a body torsion rigidity height of up to 38,395 Newton meters per degree. In terms of passive safety, a throw-type side air curtain covering 3 rows is standard. Considering the above 2 configurations, can you say it is just cost-effective? I think it is a real luxury. Although I have test-driven many electric cars, but I rarely test driving two-wheel drive electric cars because electric cars' batteries are very heavy. So usually the same level of electric cars in acceleration are slower than gasoline cars. After I test driving this car, I feel my worries unnecessary. On parameters, this car has 320 torque and 231 horsepower. And on the other hand, I think the engineers put more torque on the starting stage. So when you step on the accelerator, you won't feel that this car It's only a two-wheel drive electric vehicle. Talking about driving, I want to talk about driving quality of electric vehicles. In the era of gasoline cars, due to the engine's gearbox, many autobots, indeed, traction tuning plays important role in final experience. But what era is now? CTB technology has entered in 100,000 Chinese yuan models in China. What CTB means? CTB means that the chassis and batteries are all integrated. So battery also plays a role in chassis. And in physically, electric vehicle, if the electric vehicle with CTB technology, that means the whole chassis are very stable. So if you want to talk about driving or driving quality now, it's meaningless because all electric vehicles with CTB technology are very good. And the meaning for car brand is they can add air suspension or city suspension, depends on the final price. Let me tell you a joke. Just not a long time ago, another very famous Chinese car vloggers post one video. On that video, he drove his car over a small hill. And what he wanted to show that that car is very unstable while his car was over small hill. But and the funny part it is the car brand finally found out while he was driving his car over small hill, he had turned the steering wheel. And when I watched his video, I was wondering, is he the Princess NP? You know, we are humans. We don't have so many sensors in our hip, right? Am I right? And just go back to the technology today. Most Chinese electric cars, they all equipped with CTB technology. Okay, I don't know what he wanted. Maybe he wanted to show he's different. Maybe he wanted to show he has driven many luxury brands. He knew more information than us. Maybe he made some money. I don't know. But you can easily cheat your audiences, but you cannot cheat physics. Going off the topic, sorry. Leapmotor C16 has two shortcomings. So if you want to buy this car, you just can listen to me carefully. I think its steering support is not as good as the car with double wishbone front suspension because they want to save play, so they equip McPherson suspension at the front. But McPherson suspension is a very simple structure, so while you are driving this car in a fast turn, you will feel a little bit unconfident. Maybe some audiences will say, okay, Porsche 911 is also equipped with McPherson suspension at the front, but how weight 911 it is, right? It must weighs more than 2 tons. I know they have enough good technology, but technology cannot overcome physics. And the second shortcoming of the Leapmotor C16, I feel is a little bit hard while you're driving it, but I cannot give an accurate conclusion because maybe my tires pressure are so full. By the way, I also want to talk about something of the Leap architecture. I can give a conclusion. Leapmotor C16 is an incredible product because this car is the first product under Leap architecture. How incredible! On the BEV version, it can equip with 67 kilowatts battery. On the hybrid version, it can also equip with motors, engine, and 28 kilowatts battery. Maybe you will say, okay, what? You remember this car is equipped with short front suspension and a long rear suspension. You see how short the car it is. That means they have enough good technology to put all parts into one 4.9 meters long SUV. So also remember they give you the first tile driving experience. That's the most important part. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that this car has an intelligent brain. Today, when Chinese consumers buy new electric vehicles, one of the most concerned capabilities is the level of smart driving. In China, the cure of measuring a car's intelligent driving level is end-to-end. My understanding of end-to-end needed to be improved at the beginning. My initial understanding of end-to-end was to start intelligent driving from starting point A in the urban area to endpoint B without taking over the whole process. Currently, in the electric vehicle market in China, it's very common to have a standard high-speed smart driving function. Let's look at the ability of the high-speed MBA of the Leapmotor C16. In the beginning, we test the ability of the urban expressway. After entering the MBA mode, the Leapmotor C16 immediately changed lanes to the right. After the lane change, the navigation noticed that the road ahead to be occupied. In fact, the function can now be used in urban areas, but I also want to test its limit. When now see after discovering that the water barriers have occupied the road, it brakes suddenly, and several cars behind honk. Its intelligent driving performance is still excellent on an urban highway with a speed limit of 100 km. It can drive very well, whether changing lanes or going up and down ramps. The only thing is that the speed is too slow when going up and down ramps. It may require adaptation for experienced drivers. As for highways with simpler conditions and higher speed limits, the MBA level of the Leapmotor C16 can easily handle it. In fact, end-to-end intelligent driving is much more complex than traditional intelligent driving. In traditional intelligent driving, the information input end of the vehicle includes high-precision maps, positioning, perception, control, and decision-making links. Simply put, it's rule-based. Whether the sensors on the body are millimeter wave radars or LiDARs, they only differ in input accuracy. Real life is ever-changing, and in the end, more and more codes will form rules. End-to-end means that the vehicle's information input is directly connected to the big model, and real-time calculation and execution are carried out so that never takeover from A to B can be achieved. In short, it has intelligent driving capabilities for urban roads and highways and seamless connections throughout the process. In the current Chinese electric vehicle market, we can classify it as the first tier. The current intelligent driving version of the Leapmotor C16 only has the ability of high-speed smart driving, so I temporarily classify it as the second tier. As the first product of the Leap electronic and electrical architecture, the upper limit of the Leapmotor C16 is still very high. Regarding hardware, the top configuration is equipped with 1 LiDAR, 12 ultrasonic radars, 5mm wave radars, 11 external cameras, and an NVIDIA Drive Orin X auxiliary driving chip with a computing power of 254 TOPS. In fact, Leapmotor has started end-to-end research and development. According to relevant media reports, Leapmotor plans to launch NAP on urban roads based on the end-to-end intelligent driving big model within 2025. Leapmotor C16's main driver's design also closely follows fashion and simplicity trends. Heated air conditioning vents, a single screen, an integrated glove box, and 3 optional interior colors suit young people's tastes. Many friends want to know what the experience of the car machine equipped with Qualcomm Snapdragon 8295P is. After a few days of driving experience, its manual interaction is still simple and smooth. Whether you have driven it or not, the learning curve is very low. However, this car system still has 2 shortcomings. The first is that when some functions are switched, the interface will have residual images. Second is that the buttons for key functions hidden too deep. The driver who delivered the vehicle to me at the time contacted me many times because he couldn't find a button to open the fuel tank cap. Before summarizing, I want to talk about their chairman, Zhu Jiangming. There is an old saying in China, unity of knowledge and action. It was said by Chinese philosopher Wang Yangming. It means once you have acquired knowledge, you are responsible for putting it into action. He said we set prices based on cost and exceeds user expectations through continuous technology innovation. However, while researching information for this video, I learned that the company behind the car has been quietly insisting on full domain self-research for 8 years. Because of the self-developed Leap architecture, Leapmotor C16 can put so many configurations and relies so many functions on such a small body. I think cost-effective is not a label for Leapmotor, but the result of their persistence in continuous self-research. When a company is successful to a certain stage, the thought behind it must be philosophy. Is Zhu Jiangming a philosopher? What do you think?